this month, of course, is about spiritually motivated moral leadership, and the value for the month is spirituality, and you just sang it. Thank you for singing us spirituality. It was beautiful. Ernest Holmes, in The Science of Mind, said, "The divine mind, being the sole and only creative agency in the universe, finds in each individual a new and fresh starting point for its action." Do you realize that you are a new and fresh starting point for the action of divine mind? You and I are required. You and I, as individualized manifestations of this one creative, loving, wise, wonderful, bountiful life, are needed in this life to let Spirit flow through us and create marvelous things. Did you forget that? Sometimes we forget it. Sometimes we get busy with doing our chores and taking care of the things we're responsible for, that we forget we're simply here to let the divine have a wonderful time by means of us, and to choose that which is for our highest good, and to choose that which is making a difference in our smaller worlds, and ultimately in our larger world. As I said earlier, this is about spirituality, isn't everything? And my motto for many, many years has been, everything is sacred, nothing is serious. What I mean by that is that I like to love and laugh and live fully, understanding that the things that take place in our lives, some of them marvelous, and some of them a little not so much marvelous, and maybe scary and maybe troubling, those are changeable. Because there's one life, it is the life divine, and it never changes in terms of its basic attributes, which are life, love, light, peace, power, beauty, and joy. Those things are changeless. But what changes is the form. This is a great, wonderful, beautiful, intelligent, creative process that we deal with. It's the life of the divine creating out of itself everything wonderful in the universe, including you and me. And then imbuing each of us with that same co-creative ability to bring into our lives that which we choose. We have such a great power of choice. And we forget that sometimes. And when we do, we kind of go along with what somebody's expecting us to do, what we've signed up for, da-da-da. There's no fun in that kind of life. Don't you like having fun in your life? Everything is sacred and nothing is serious. Let's not take the stuff that happens in the external too seriously. That doesn't mean that we don't do our important work, because we do. Whether it's in mind, spirit, meditation, prayer, or whether it's out there doing what needs to be done in the world, or some combination, we take what we're doing seriously, but oh please, let's not take ourselves too seriously while we're doing it. You know why angels can fly? If you know it, say it with me. Because they take themselves lightly. We can fly. We can do all kinds of marvelous things when we're not taking ourselves too seriously. That doesn't mean we don't make our commitments to what we're making our commitments to and stick with them. If I'm committed to live a life of joy, I'm committed to that. And I'll do my best to help you do the same. Eknatheswaran, who began the Blue Mountain Meditation Center in Northern California, became a dear mentor of mine many years ago. And he said, through the practice of spiritual disciplines, we can awaken into the highest life possible. We will see God everywhere, serve Him everywhere, worship her everywhere. Understanding that every sentient being is an expression of the One. Each of us, man, woman, child, animal, all one in the presence of the divine. And the more we're able to see that divine presence within every sentient being, within everyone that we behold. I love that. I behold the presence within you. The more we're able to do that, the more we live in that beautiful sense of freedom, knowing I am an individualized expression of the One. This wisdom within me is guiding me to that which is mine to do, that which is for the highest and best for me and for everyone in my world. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the world. Have you noticed that? There's a lot of work that needs to be done in the world. But the more we realize that we're not doing it by ourselves, the more empowered we begin to feel to do what we can do to make those differences. It can seem overwhelming. Let's not let ourselves become paralyzed emotionally and mentally by thinking there's too much to do and how can I do it all? Someone once asked the question, am I doing enough? That's the wrong question. Do you want to know what the right question is? What is mine to do? That's the right question. What's mine to do? What's my important part? Remember The Hobbit? Remember that whole series, Tolkien series on all those little people? And oh, bless you. And all of the tests and trials and tribulations that Frodo and Bilbo and all of them went through. And it was amazing. Were you caught up in that at all? I didn't miss a book. But remember at the very end, the last book in that series, there was in the back a chronology of Middle-earth and all the things that had taken place, and these heroes and all that they had done to save the world and the dragon and my precious and all of that, remember? There was like one line attributed to the hobbits and what they did. One line. I remember reading that so many years ago, and I really got that I simply do my small but important part. Oh, what a relief. I just do my small but important part. And as Ernest Holmes said, you don't need to have statues put up to you. We're here today, our particular lives need to be well lived, and that we go on, other people are making their contributions. No statues for anybody. Well, it's kind of nice to go down to Center City, and there's a lot of history there, but you and I don't need statues. We do need to live fully in this moment, to do our small but essential part, whatever that may be. And what's wonderful is that it's not mine to tell you what to do. What a relief for all of us, right? It's up to each one of us to ask so deeply in those sweet, precious, silent, sacred moments, what is mine to do? And then follow it. The wisdom within us can be relied upon completely. We don't need to do a popularity poll and find out, well, what do you think I ought to do? What do you think I ought to do? That's only going to make you crazy and confuse you. We want to live sanely. What is ours to do? Without judgment of what other people's jobs may be to do. This is Veterans Day weekend. Dedicated men and women who serve and have served and will serve courageously, enlisting, and others who keep the high watch in consciousness. And there's nothing that says you can't do both. As it's been said, there's no atheists in the foxholes, right? I do not favor war. Never have, never will. And I do honor those who do their best to protect us. It's okay to be in both of those places. What each person is called to do is important. And I honor each person's call. Is it prayer? Is it meditation? Is it social activism? Is it both? Why not? Why not go so deeply within our hearts and souls when something is facing us that says, I don't think that is a good thing for our children? What's mine to do is first to go deeply inside. First to open my heart and my mind to feel that divine connection so deeply that I know I'm being guided, that I know it's not just some silly whim within my own smaller mind, but it is a deep awareness that the divine wisdom is right here available for me and ready to come forth because I'm inviting it with all my heart. Then I know what I might do out here in the world. Is it writing a letter? Is it making a phone call? Is it knocking on doors? I don't know. But I'll be guided to it when I first come deeply into that center of all good and all wisdom. And I can be passionate about what I do, and I can know that my work is sacred, and I can still not take myself too seriously while I'm doing that sacred work. 1 Corinthians 12, verse 4 through 7. Now there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are varieties of services, but the same Lord. And there are varieties of activities, but it is the same God who activates all of them in everyone. To each is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. Pretty good scripture. One life, God's life, individualized as each of us. What we choose to do as the arms and the legs and the mouths and the eyes and the ears of the divine is up to each of us. Up to each of us. Do you realize how wonderful it is to have that kind of sovereignty? You have sovereignty. You get to choose. I get to choose. What's for my highest good and for the greatest good of all. And it all begins with prayer. I want to seek the divine wisdom from within. That guidance is always available. And remember, what's the wrong question? Am I doing enough? What's the right question? What is mine to do? Now that's a sweet and wonderful question, and it has wonderful answers. Once we're guided into right thinking and right action, we know absolutely what is ours to do. There's no question about it then. Ernest Holmes also says, the way to work is to begin right where we are and to constantly be applying ourselves to the truth. And we gradually increase in wisdom and understanding. It's a day-to-day, moment-to-moment kind of wonderful activity. Let's begin by embracing the presence. When we feel that divine connection, all power in the universe is ours to use. And then we activate the law by speaking our word confidently and powerfully with deep understanding. I'm caring for my side of the street. That's what each of us gets to do by opening up to the universal good waiting within me. When there's a solid yes, as many people in our center say, I get a full-bodied yes for that. Full-bodied yes. When there is that solid yes, then we know what we are choosing to do will definitely make our hearts sing. Don't you want to be doing what makes your heart sing? Our musicians up here, they do this out of love for our beloved community. They bring their gifts, beautiful gifts, and we're enriched by them. And you know what? So are they. When you and I give our gifts, we benefit just as much as everybody else. It's very much like when you turn the faucet on and the water starts flowing through. What gets that benefit first but the inside of the faucet itself? When we're giving our gifts, when we are doing what makes our heart sing, we benefit by it, and how beautiful it is to see that we're making a difference in other people's lives as well. This certainly is ours to do. Is it ours to do to increase the joy in our own lives? To be more fulfilled in our daily living? That is ours to do. Increase in love, increase in health, increase in prosperity, increase in beautiful divine activities, our creativity. You deserve vibrant health. Did anyone tell you that today? You deserve loving, beautiful, happy relationships. Yes. You deserve overflowing prosperity, so there's not just enough, but there's enough to share and enough to spare. And this beautiful circulation of good taking place in our lives is definitely the divine intention for every single one of us. Your ability to live a creative life, to enjoy your work, to enjoy your play, this is ours to do as well. Let's begin at home. Let's begin by honoring ourselves and how we can have these overflowing, loving relationships, fulfilling work, and great abundance. We teach this here. And the reason we teach it is that it's based on universal principles which everyone in the universe can use. And as we begin to model this overflowing life from within each one of us, we're actually doing something wonderful for the people who might meet us and say, "What have you got? I want some of that." Well, they have it. And it's up to us to live so fully, so lovingly, with so much compassion, with so much wisdom, that we are positively influencing other people we may encounter. This universal intelligence becomes a generative energy from within us that moves through us to accomplish all things with grace and ease. When our fountains are full and circulating and overflowing, other people are lifted. Other people finally get the message that they don't need to lead small lives anymore. Would you like to live more largely? We can live more largely because God's at the center of every single one of us. Beloved, all I have is thine. I believe those words with all my heart. Beloved, everything in the universe is ours to experience, and that includes everybody who hasn't yet realized that there's another way to live. Let's choose new mental equivalents, new spiritual prototypes. That's something we develop in mind. The way that the infinite mind creates is starting with an idea, a new mental equivalent. Let there be beautiful rivers, clean, fresh water, wonderful world in which people love each other, respect each other, care about each other. Let's create those new mental equivalents. That's the infinite's idea. Let it become ours, because human beings were given this option. We were given the opportunity to choose. Choose you this day whom you shall serve. Why don't we serve the truth more? Why don't we stop getting too involved in what scares us out there and stand tall in the truth and keep the high watch? We're creating a new idea about our own lives. We're creating a new idea about the world itself. And we're deciding what is ours to do to bring every imaginable good into our lives and into this beautiful world. I'm almost gone to preaching here, and that's not something I want to do, so... Thanks, Martha, thanks. I want each of us to be so filled with joy and enthusiasm about this precious presence and this wonderful law that responds to us, that we're making a difference in our own lives, in our beloved community here, in the greater community, within our families, in our workplaces. So let's ask the right question today. What's mine? What's mine to do? Because I'm not doing it by myself, am I? I'm doing it with all the power and all the presence and all the creative, intelligent activity, all the love and all the compassion that's right here within us all. That is the way we succeed. Power divine, the sunrise gloweth bright, I rise to do thy will. The love that kept me through the passive night can guide and keep me still. Fear cannot enter where the love divine doth ever dwell. The power and the strength alone are thine. Thou doest all things well. The weight of a decision unto me doth not belong. I look alone to thee, and in thy strength am strong. The power of love alone the world can sway. God shall prevail. If naught but love reign in my heart today, nothing I do can fail. Everything we do succeeds. Will you say with me, I'm filled with joy and enthusiasm. I do what is mine to do. And so, my beloveds, beginneth your lesson. Thank you.